So that's just one way you can make your map look nice. Alright, I'm going to delete my extra light here. Also, you're going to need to put a no draw texture on the edge of this brush here, on the edge of our metal brush, so that the light will shine through properly, okay? Just make sure all the way around. See how I have it all the way around on the underside and on the sides of it? That's just so the light shines through and makes that effect, okay? Alright, so let's move on. I have a scene set up here with an electric fence using the trigger hurt, and it's just encompassing our fence here. And then I have envy spark, and then ambient generic, and those two are effects. Now this effect is a spark effect, and I gave it a name, and all I did was type in, once I made my entity, envy spark, and then I gave it a parent of the fence. Remember how I told you it's important to name your props and entities? Well, this one is static, so it's not going to have a name. So I named my trigger that instead, shock fence, and it's linked to spark. So when player touches this, it's going to spark, and it'll spark wherever they touch it at on this trigger here. Okay? And also we have an ambient generic sound that plays, and all I did was made a new entity and typed in ambient generic, and then I went to sound name and then browse. You see I've got a filter down here for spark because I was looking for a sound effect earlier. I'm going to take that off and show you. You have a massive list of sounds that are built into the game that you can pick from, like this one, achievement earned, and then you got a bunch of other ones, and you can use those just whatever you want it to be. Mine's set to nucleus electricity from the nucleus map, so it makes a kind of electric humming noise. You have the volume, I set to 3s. I don't want it really loud, but I don't want it really quiet. And then you can give it a dynamic preset, which is like, is it a machine, is it fading in, is it pulse, that kind of thing. And then you can have a start volume, a pitch, LFO if you know how to mess with that kind of thing, and then a source. And I set it source to the fence so that when the player is near the fence, they will hear that sound within its radius, which you'll see down here in the viewport. And you can adjust that radius so that it's just that far, or it encompasses the entire map. And it's just that simple. By just dragging our little anchor here, see the little yellow anchor line right there, just drag it. You'll see it expand and contract with that, so we'll drag it out a little bit. Alright, and that's good to go. We're going to click off that for now and move on to one of the more exciting things. This is a spotlight, another lighting entity type. Just again, like we created with the light bulb earlier. Let's make a new entity, and I'm going to select it and then type in light spot, hit apply. Let me close that out and pull this up some so you can see it. And you'll see that it's made a spotlight. And the white light beams coming out from it is the direction that the light is going to shine in from it. Okay? And you can give it color and whatnot just like we did with our normal light. These look better than just placing the normal lights. The normal lights are just for... if you got a wide area and it's still too dark, you can place one of those in there. But otherwise, use spotlights to fill in your map. And it has some other properties too, just like with our normal light. They basically do the same thing. Give it a custom appearance like we were talking about earlier with that weird lighting scale grid, but we're not going to mess with that. We don't need to. Alright, so I'm going to remove that because I don't need it. And then another kind of light that adds the best effect to your lighting is called a point spotlight. It's this one right here, and it's real small looking, but what you're going to want to do is when you create this, you can also give it a color just like a normal light. Make sure you name it. What we're going to do is we'll find a prop like I have here. This is a lamp prop, and then we'll put a point spotlight underneath it if it doesn't have a texture that makes it look like it's already turned on. And then below the point spotlight we'll put our light spot or our spotlight. Yeah, a light spot. And what it'll do is make it look lit up in here like a halo kind of effect that you see in lighting, and then we'll have the rest of the lighting pointing down, and it really looks nice. And I did the same for the ceiling up here. And now let's talk about our scene that I've created over here with the fish tank, or something that resembles a fish tank. Now I have a piece of glass here, and it's breakable, and that's real easy to do. You make a brush, just like we did with our trigger, and Control T, and name it funk underscore breakable. Give it a name. You could also have a damage filter for the if you want only like a certain thing to be able to damage it, like a crowbar or a melee weapon, that kind of thing. But we're going to have it take damage from any source in this case. You can give it a health. This one's set to 15. And then you can have it, let's see, set to best approximation. We're not going to worry about that. That's for specific impact, really. We'll talk about that maybe another time. I don't use it, so we're not going to worry with it. Material type is glass, because I got a glass texture. If it was wood, it would be wood. You can change this to whatever you want to make. Rocks, computer, a bunch of stuff that we can pick from, but because it's a fish tank, I use glass. It makes more sense to me. Our gib direction, which is when it breaks, is going to gib out, which is something the engine does for us, so we don't have to code this in. It will break into little pieces of glass on the floor and on the wall and things like that, and it'll fade out like you just broke it in real life. And then let's talk about entity communication. Now, I learned about this just this weekend, and it's actually very, very easy to do. And the possibilities are limitless with this, really. You just have to think on how your scene's going to be set up. I wouldn't put too many of them in your map, but you can have a decent amount and not lag your game at all. So we're going to go to our outputs tab, and you'll notice I have several outputs on here. And what this is an output is this entity, once something happens to this entity, it's going to talk to another entity or another thing in your map. In this case, on break, it's going to kill this water in here, which means the water will just pop, it's gone, vanish from our level, it's deleted. Not really deleted, but it's just going to be gone for that round, okay? And it also produces a splash from this right here. This is another effect like EMV spark, and it will also turn the skin on this light right here from the first skin, which is default, the one you see here, to a second skin, which is off. And then it's going to use the spark, destroy the light, and destroy the particle all at once. Once this glass breaks, all that's going to happen at once. And that's really simple, and it's really neat, and it makes your map unique, very unique, and you can get some very nice effects out of your map by doing that. But that's it for today, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful and informative. If you have, please subscribe, and I want to include the source for this map in a download out in the link in the sidebar, so that you can examine this and learn from it. And thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.